guys, this is Jim and Joelle at FromScratchFarmstead.com, and we are out here just on the final stretch of harvesting our about 1,000 pounds of potatoes that we planted. So we're gonna share with you just the ins and outs of planting potatoes and then how we're gonna actually harvest and store these to last us for the full year ahead.
So the beauty of potatoes, and really why we love growing them so much here on the homestead, is that we planted them in the spring and they've been almost entirely hands-off since. So now we're harvesting them, it's fall, and we've done almost nothing since planting. We did
Not
a little.
That we would recommend not weeding your potatoes, but...
Yeah, we haven't, and they still had a great yield. People recommend mounding on top of them, whether with more soil or mulch or something like that. We haven't done that, and we've still had great yields. The potatoes look great. There's a few that kind of come to the surface and we have to pitch them, but besides that, we get a great harvest.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we do that has helped a lot is that we do run a drip irrigation system. So we plant a couple really long rows of potatoes.
They're like 150 feet long, roughly.
So we planted about 250 feet rows, and then one section that was maybe less than
I don't know, 40 or 50 feet.
Yeah. Yep. So we had 250 feet rows and then one 40 or 50 foot section. And so we just ran one single drip tape along that. So that was super helpful. We would just water with that drip tape. We got it from Drip Depot actually last year. And so this is the second year that we've used it. But that's worked really well. We just ran it for like an hour every day in the summer.
When we need it.
When we didn't get rain.
If there was plenty of rain, we could turn it off for a couple days.
Yeah, but just putting compost in the ground with our potatoes and then the drip tape, and they have done awesome. And so our favorite varieties of potatoes to grow are, so we do one whole row of Elba potatoes. So one whole 150 foot rows of Elbas, E-L-B-A. And we love the Elba, and we specifically chose those because they're really good storage potatoes. So they're a late season potato, they have a nice thick skin, and they're great for storage. And so we found this to be true.
Got a whole bin of them.
Yeah, right, we have a whole bin here. And so last year when we grew Elbas, they were really still very firm through the spring. I mean, by the end of spring, they were definitely starting to get soft, but they held up much more firmly than our other potatoes that we planted for a lot longer. So we do one whole row of those, and then we like to just do a few other varieties. We love planting some purple potatoes, so we do the Adirondack Blues and the Magic Mollies, just for the extra nutrition. So when you plant the deep purple colored vegetables, it just adds some extra antioxidant and polyphenol, just healthful characteristics. So we plant those, and then we have another variety called Corollas that are just smooth and creamy and really, really delicious. So those are a family favorite too.
Yeah.
So those have been the main varieties that we've planted.
And so we've gotten our potato seed in the past from Fedco. So we ordered online, get those delivered in the spring, and we were really happy with them. This past year was the first year that we actually saved seed that we had from potatoes that we harvested last year, planted them in the spring, and it actually worked out really great.
Yeah, it was kind of an experiment, like literally storing these in our basement.
Yeah, well, it was kind of crazy. So we stored them, and they grow the sprouts. The eyes grow out of them over time, and I think ours were probably a little past their peak of when we were supposed to plant them. There was literally like 2 foot
eyes growing up to the
growing
ceiling.
up like out of the potato bins and stuff, and it looked like alien antennas or something crazy like that. But anyway, so we planted them like that, and they still did great.
They did great.
Yeah, if we would have bought new seed potato, it probably would have done a little bit better for us, but those still worked great.
Yeah, I would say from buying new seed last year to planting our potatoes this year, the yield is maybe down 10 to 15%, but it's still really, really good yield. So we were super happy with that.
So for harvesting potatoes, we keep it fairly old school. We just use a pitchfork and kind of get in there, dig in, pop them up to the surface and grab them out and just try and grab as many as we can.
Do that treasure hunt of potatoes.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hunt. The kids get involved, it's fun. But that's what we've done. It's worked well for us. I will say, I'm gonna show you this awesome pitchfork we picked up. We actually got it as a Christmas gift this last year, but it's a steel handled pitchfork, and I'll include a link below in case you're interested. But we had, it was like the end of our potato harvest last year, and one of our wood handled pitchforks snapped in half. And then we got this for Christmas, and this thing is awesome. It's like a beast in the garden, and yeah, it's done really well for harvesting potatoes. But basically we just go through, like we're at the end right now of one of our 150-foot rows here, and just go through, you know, foot by foot, pulling up pieces of soil, pulling out potatoes, put them in our bins, and then we haul them all inside from there.
I would say harvesting potatoes, I mean, that part is the most work that come with the potatoes in general. It's a lot, especially to harvest this many. It's probably taken us 3 full days at least.
Well, it's probably closer to like a full work week, like 5 days.
I mean, it's been a lot, but when you think about the energy that you get, the nutrients, like the energy in terms of calories, the nutrients that you get, like this could literally feed our family for the entire year, just potatoes. So this is a really huge bulk part of our diet, so we find it worth it. We set aside time, we come out in little 2-hour, 3-hour chunks and just harvest as much as we can and get it done over the course of October usually. And so, but it's
labor intensive.
It's labor intensive, yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. But when it comes to storing potatoes, so ideally, you'd probably want to store them in a root cellar or an area that's going to be around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. We don't have a root cellar, we just have our basement of our ranch home, and so it generally in the winter is going to be around 60 to 65 degrees, I would say, and they really have done very, very well just like that. We store them in these shipping crates, these black shipping crates, and it's a good idea to put like a sheet cloth over them just to help kind of keep everything dark and covered.
Yeah. You want them to be breathable, so you never want to like seal them off entirely, but yeah, something you definitely want to block them from light. That's really important with storing potatoes, because once they get exposed to too much sunlight, then there's like a toxic reaction that happens where they turn, like a yellow potato will turn green, and then you'll
see it if the potatoes are out on the surface of the soil, they'll turn green. And
yeah, you generally don't want to eat those.
Yeah, but that's just how we store them in the basement. It's 60 to 65 degrees, maybe not 100% ideal, but it's worked well for us. If you don't have these shipping crates, another way we store them, another good option is just in big, like brown paper bags. So, just like big brown paper grocery store bags are another great way to store them, and they keep well in that. And we've really found even the varieties of potatoes that aren't for storage do well for several months, as long as you don't want to wash them. You want to keep, get off the visible dirt that you can just with your hands, but then don't wash them. Keep them just as you're going to use them. Wash them off, clean them, get everything off, and then they store much better that way. So they really have kept very well for sure through the winter into the spring. We were eating these Elba potatoes probably in June of last year, and it worked fine, especially for mashed potatoes when the texture doesn't really matter as much. So we love growing potatoes. They're a super easy food to grow tons of. They offer great energy, calories, and nutrients for your family, and they're easy to store all year round.
So we're gonna keep going here and finish up our potato harvest for this year. But if you do have any other questions on planting, harvesting, storing potatoes, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to chat about it. And thanks for stopping by the farmstead today, and we'll see you next time.